I'm high on every team in my top 25, but there's still ways things could go wrong for them this season. Let's break down the disaster scenarios for teams 20 through 16 in my top 25. What about Louisville? They've been a very transfer portal heavy team each of the first 2 seasons under Jeff Brom, and it's worked out great. It's been unusual because transfer portal usage usually comes with a degree of volatility that we haven't seen with Louisville, so maybe that catches up to them this season. They miss on a few evaluations. Maybe the quarterback doesn't pan out. Maybe some of the defenders don't gel, and then they could end up missing a bowl game and having a really rough year, especially with some tough non-conference games. Last season, Michigan was 5-5 and stumbling through a mediocre season before ripping off some impressive wins and ending on a high note. What if this year their offensive struggles continue, even with Bryce Underwood, even with a new offensive coordinator, and they just can't find a signal caller that can step up? Their defense might still be great, but we've seen what the floor might be for this team. They got kind of close to it at certain points last year. It'd be like a 6-6 and put doubt in the minds of Michigan fans about whether or not Sharon Moore is their guy. Washington's looking to make a huge jump this season after a 6-6 season with the quarterback in Damon Williams. They can rally around some great skill players, some talented guys on defense. There's a bunch of pieces here to have a great season, but their schedule is still really brutal. And what happens if Damon Williams doesn't fulfill his full hype and maybe there's more holes on defense? Maybe the rebuild isn't as far along as it appears on paper. That might result in another disappointing 500 year where Fish just doesn't get off to as fast a start as Washington was hoping he would. Indiana shocked the college football world last season with their magical season, making a run to the college football playoff. They're another team that leans extremely heavily on the transfer portal, and their willingness to do that also opens them up to a potential disastrous season. And yes, they have a manageable schedule, but things could fall pretty far for them. Their overall talent level isn't overwhelming. It isn't top tier. And so if they miss in some key areas and have some critical flaws, we could see like a complete disaster year. I'm talking like 1 win in the Big Ten disaster. Georgia Tech is a hard-nosed, physical, well-coached team, and yet they play a brutal schedule this season, and it's another team where their overall talent level is not overwhelmingly powerful. So if Georgia Tech doesn't bring their A game, maybe they sleepwalk into a couple of games and get dinged with some early losses, they could really see things turn in a negative way this year and end up missing a bowl game despite all the positive momentum they've built as a program. Go ahead and like for the next part where I'll be breaking down the disaster scenarios for teams 15 through 11.